Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Catching Up with Joe Howe, the podcast no one asked for or expected. On today's episode is part 2 of our conversation with Coach Reagan Willman.
One guy you haven't mentioned, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was a member of, I think, the 95 team, the Cotton Bowl year.
No, Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl. Ron McKelvey?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron McKelvey, also known as Ron Weaver. And funny thing, man, he looked a little bit older than us. And it was strange because he would get coffee. And we're 20.
Quick backstory on that real quick before you get started. This is a guy that played college football like several years before.
Right.
Worked a day job. Was he stole somebody's identity, like Social Security, to enroll at a college?
Yeah.
Apparently it was somebody that kind of looked like him.
Right.
And then he enrolled there and then transferred to Texas.
Yeah. So this is the pre-internet days, and things are still on paper. So you could get away with identity theft a little easier back then. And so Ron manages to get on the Longhorns team. And I remember I'd call him Outlaw Ron McKelvey. And I promise you, I'd say Outlaw Ron McKelvey. And he'd kind of look at me and kind of hold a stare at me for a little while. Like, you know something, don't you? And I thought it kind of rhymed, like it sounded cool. Outlaw Ron McKelvey. Anyway, and then when all this stuff came down at the Sugar Bowl in December of '95, Inside Edition did an expose on it, and there were cameras everywhere. And some guys on the team got dismissed because they got caught gambling, and that didn't come out either. It was kind of swept under the rug. But some of the guys got dismissed for gambling, and my friend Bill Cody goes, "Man, are you clairvoyant or something? Because you used to call that guy Outlaw, months ago before anyone knew all this stuff." I'm like, I just thought it sounded cool, So not clairvoyant, just weird, just guess. I don't know. But yeah, it was a crazy thing, man.
It's a crazy story.
The guy just wanted to play ball. I get it. I understand. I don't fault him for that.
That's what semi-pro football sport.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, hey.
Yeah.
Makes for a cool story.
Cool story. Good time.
Like, do you know if you ever got charged in jail time for anything?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
It's kind of like, hey, don't do that again.
Yeah. It was like, if you go away quietly, we won't press charges.
Yeah, because didn't the story break like the day before the bowl game?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he just kind of vanished?
Yeah.
That's like, I just knew bits and pieces of that story. Like, because you sent me I sent you a little questionnaire about what you want to talk about. You sent me that. I was like, who the hell is that guy?
Yeah.
So I had to look it up. I was like, oh, it's that guy.
They called a few players in. Like, the one guy was his friend. I want to not name names to protect the innocent. But they called another teammate in and they said, "Hey, what do you know? What's going on?" And the guy's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And they're like, "Come clean right now. We know what's going on." They just kept it very vague like that. And he's like, "Okay, here's what I know. These 4 guys are betting on games." I'm like, "All right, thanks. You can go now." And those 4 guys were gone. And were they betting on college games? I don't know. This is all pre-internet days.
Yeah.
So is it an advantage to be a college athlete, watching the film and seeing your opponents? Because you see different angles. You can see, well, that guy is really terrible. Their left corner is going to get picked on this next week. We should bet on the other team. Yeah, that's an advantage. So that's what happened. But no one knows that because it got swept under the rug.
I guess stolen identity was a bigger story back then.
It wasn't a big deal back then. Yeah. Because people didn't know about. I'm sure people did credit card theft and things like that. But, it wasn't as big of a deal.
That story would have been a lot cooler if you're like, yeah, I was like roommates with this guy. We were like best friends.
No, I talked to him a little bit. He was a nice guy. Good work ethic.
Happened to be like 8 years older than
He just wanted to play football, man. I don't fault him for that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hey, back then, if you just try it, see what happens.
Yeah. Why not?
It's kind of a smart idea.
Yeah.
Especially back then, just like, what are the odds of me getting caught?
You got them. Yeah. If you have the chance to do it, why not?
Makes for a hell of a story. I'm
Right.
sure they probably made a movie out of it and everything.
Yeah, it was on Inside Edition with that guy who went on to be on Fox News. That old guy. What is his name? I can't think of his name now. He got fired from Fox News a few years ago.
I'm sure this wrong guy probably wrote a book.
Probably.
You got to capitalize on it at some point.
Yeah.
Or try to write a movie.
Right.
Basically, write a movie about it.
Yeah.
Make a little bit of money.
Yeah. I'd like to be an extra in that. You know.
Write the script over there.
Yeah, I could.
Movie writer.
There was a guy. If you're a fan of Texas football, Stoney Clark. He was kind of the hero of the 1994 OU game. We were playing OU. I think we're up 17 to 10. They go for it on fourth down at our 1 yard line, and we stop them at the goal line. And everyone credits Stoney Clark. And Stoney Clark did make the tackle, but our backside defensive end stayed at home. OU ran a reverse. Everyone chased the tailback. Like 10 guys chased the tailback on the reverse, and they hand it off to a flanker, and he comes back the other way. Flanker's an old term, sorry. And one guy, our backside defensive end, didn't take the bait. He stayed at home. And he didn't make the tackle, but he made the running back cut back in, where we had Tony Brackens and Stoney Clark, and they made the tackle. Anyway, Stoney Clark went on to be an author, and I think he was talking about how he was going to, be an author one day and write books and write the story of. And he's like, guys, we're all just two ships passing in the night. We're here today, we're gone tomorrow. You and I are here now, but tomorrow this is just going to be a memory. So enjoy the time you have here and the people you're around. So
That's pretty good advice right there.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're all just two ships passing in the night.
Speaking of that, what's the best advice you've ever received from somebody?
Oh man. I would have to say just in general perseverance. And I learned it at a young age. I don't know how I learned it, and maybe just through modeling from my 7th grade coach, 7th, 8th, 8th grade, Rodney Huffman. He was still around. He was a middle school coach and high school coach. He ended up in Mount Pleasant or somewhere in East Texas where he retired. But he taught us a lot about perseverance. Even after he left us, he went on and, coaches change over, get asked to leave or whatever. My junior year in Menard, we're in the playoffs and we're playing Rotan, and we got beat pretty bad, like 60-12. And I remember my buddy and I, we just wanted to run to the locker room and go change, go shower and get on the bus. And back then, you still see this some in high school where you circle up, make a circle, and you spell out, your team name, like Menard or Florence, whatever we do. We do jumping jacks and do that. Well, we didn't want to do it. We're like, we're done. Let's get out of here. So we're trying to run back to the locker room in Shotwell Stadium in Abilene. And Coach Huffman was there. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? You get back out there. And he wasn't even our coach anymore. He's like, you go out there and you spell it out with your teammates. And so we're like, yes, sir. And we jogged back and we did, spelled out yellow jackets and jumping jacks or whatever.
It's a lot of jumping.
Maybe it's just jackets. I think we shortened it to jackets. But yeah, man, he taught me a lot about perseverance and accountability. And he was a guy who was heavier. He had a weight issue. And I remember in 8th grade in basketball, we were playing in the very best 8th grade basketball tournament. And this is a true story from the 80s. Listen to this. So we're waiting to play the championship game. We're watching the 3rd place game, and I'm sitting there, and I'm one of the scrubs, and I'm probably not going to play very much. And we're going to play the host school, very best. And sure enough, these blonde kids look like villains from Karate Kid come up to me, and they hand me this Snickers, giant king-size Snickers bar. And they're like, hey, number 34. It was number 34. He goes, give this to your coach, big candy bar. And I'm like, okay, thanks, I will. And I didn't think anything of it. And so game ends, and we're in the little locker room, and Coach is going over our game plan. And I said, hey, Coach, the boys from Very Best wanted me to give you this. It was a giant Snickers candy bar. And he kind of paused, and he's like, you see this, guys? He goes, they're trying to embarrass me. They're trying to say that your coach is fat, and here's a candy bar for your fat coach. And that pissed us off. We probably beat him by 40. It was crazy. But it was a pretty crappy thing for them to do. But that was the 80s, and that's just how things were back then. And
Can't get away with anything like that.
that was terrible, man. And deep down, I really did know what they were doing, and I knew that would motivate our team to go out there and kick their ass. Excuse my language, but what a crappy thing to do, give me a candy bar to give to our coach who was overweight at the time. I was like, come on,
Could at least make a racist,
right? But be a good person and be accountable and persevere, man. Overcome. You just hang in there long enough and good things happen. I think I heard that on Office Space. Maybe that's the quote, right?
Yeah.
It ties back to what I said to you about emotional resilience. How well you handle bad times in your life, how well you bounce back. Everyone does well when you're winning. When you're doing fine, everyone's patting you on the back. Man, anyone can do that. Anyone can be a great coach when you're winning. It's how well you handle a bad situation. I watch a football conference after a game for the team that loses. How well do they handle that? That's hard. That's something you can't script. I was watching Steve Sarkisian after the Mississippi State game. And of course, he has all these great things to talk about. He's talking about Arch and he's talking about Ryan Niblett and his punt return and things the Longhorns did well. But then, imagine had we not won that game, how different that press conference would be. How would you handle that? How would you handle all those questions about, well, is Arch the guy? And, are you going to try to take the tightness job? Things like that. So how will you handle yourself in times when things aren't going well after a loss or, in tough times? That's the sign of a leader. That's emotional resilience. How well you can handle yourself and how well you can bounce back. That's everything. So, and that's a sign of intelligence too. If you think about it, people who crash out, as the kids say now, and they throw a tantrum or things don't go their way, it's not a very smart person usually. It's the intelligent person who can take a step back and evaluate, and they can take that look, what they say, from 10,000 feet. You know what? It's going to be all right. We didn't do our best today, but we're going to learn from it and come back next time.
It's like just in life, you got to learn from the bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I've made lots of mistakes. I've been fortunate enough to always bounce back, but it's a lot of it is because I'm resilient. I don't quit. I'm going to get up the next day. I'm not going to lay in bed and feel sorry for myself. I know that I'm going to get up and answer the bell one more time than the next guy. That's the way I see things. And I'm going to still help people along the way, help whoever I can. But ultimately, I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to be an example for other people, and I'm going to always keep coming back.
Is that one thing you try to teach, like, the kids in tennis now?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I coach Forbes middle school team, and we have what we call a young team, mostly seventh graders. We only have one 8th grade boy playing currently, and then like maybe 4 or 5 girls, and the rest are all 7th graders. And in this fall format, we play 7th graders play 8th graders because we just don't have as many kids. We get more kids in the spring. And I'm like, guys, you're a younger team, and you're going to go out there and play against kids who've been playing longer than you. But ultimately, it's who can get the ball in the court one more time than the next guy. So it doesn't matter that you're 12 or you're 13 and playing against a 14-year-old. They're only a year older than you. So, don't make excuses. Just show up and be accountable and play for the next point. So, yeah, I try to teach that and everything. And ultimately coach my own kids. We can look at our limitations. Joe, you and I say, well, we didn't get good genes. Our parents didn't pass on good athletic genes to us, so we should feel sorry for ourselves. We're not 6'2", and we don't run a 4.5, so we should just quit. But we don't do that. You play with what you got. You play the hand you're dealt. It's all you can do in life. That's right.
Can't change it.
Right.
Speaking of kids, you got a daughter that's in high school.
Yep.
Kid that's in middle school.
Yep.
Boy and girl.
So Amelia's an 11th grader at Georgetown High School. She plays varsity tennis, and she's played line 1, singles and doubles. And talk about pressure, man. She
made the state last year in doubles.
She made state in doubles last year. She's a great kid, man. She's a great student too. She's going to be in probably top 4 or 5% of her class at Georgetown, and couldn't ask for a better kid.
She take after you or the wife.
It's after me. Yeah, it's after me.
Well, the smarts.
Well, now, okay. Athleticism and determination, me, but Math skills, definitely her mom, thankfully. So that's good. But she's so determined, man. She will grind and she'll study and she works hard. Like we carved pumpkins last night and she got hers done. She's like, all right, good. Now I'm done. Now I can go back to studying. I'm like, okay. Whereas my son, the sixth grader, took like an hour to carve a 6-7 in a pumpkin. And then of course, he's not going to want to study after that. He says he never has homework in sixth grade. Okay, I guess not.
That's why he failed throughout.
Yeah, I have no idea. So, two different kids, but both good ones. Andrew plays baseball and football, and he'll play some tennis hopefully next year. But he plays it's not quite Pop Warner League. I don't know what they call it, but it's sixth grade tackle football. It's maybe it's rec ball, recreate. I don't know. It's good quality because they're playing good teams around the Austin and Kyle area and Gerald. And then he's a good baseball player too. Very good baseball player. So good kids. Couldn't ask for better.
I'm guessing baseball's his favorite.
Probably so. I think that's his best chance, but he'll play some football. He's gonna be a good player. I don't know where he's gonna play next year in 7th grade. Wherever coach wants to put him, I'm sure we'll be fine with him.
What's he playing now?
So currently he plays defensive end and running back. You know, he's played some on offensive line. He's played guard and tackle, and then he played running back the entire game. I think they were thin on running back, so he was the featured guy. And I think he had 4 yards rushing on probably 4 carries.
It's better than -4 yards.
You know, but he was a decoy a lot. They would fake the handoff to him, and the quarterback would pull it. Kind of like Vince Young, you know.
Is this his first year playing like tackle?
Yeah, first year. So he likes it, and then where he's playing defensive end, so he's learned a lot about the technique. And it's tough, man. That's one position I never played. It's like you got to hold up the tackle or tight end, and then maintain your outside leverage. Keep your containment. Meanwhile, still rush the quarterback if it's a pass. Don't get caught looking inside. You know, don't get hooked. It's hard. There's a lot to it. I never realized it until I'm trying to coach my own son. So it's a challenge.
I never liked anything on defense.
Yeah, I can handle defense where you just have a gap. Like that's your gap. Good luck.
Yeah. I had to try it all on defense.
That's
I'm
too
gonna
much.
try to be the worst I can, so they never tell me to do this again.
It's funny.
And it worked. I was one of the few guys that never played defense.
You know, in a small town in Menard, Florence, the thing about playing defense is if you make a tackle, the announcer says your name. And one thing I learned about coaching, maybe at a clinic years ago, but I heard this. It said the number one thing that kids want to hear is their name. So that's when I teach tennis mostly now, and I coach, son's flag football team and baseball team, but kids like to hear their name. So I'll say, hey, good shot, Jimmy, and Jimmy, try this. And they want to hear their name called. So that's kind of like intrinsic motivation when you're playing a sport like football and your alignment on offense, you're not going to hear your name called on offense, but if you make a tackle, hey, tackle by number 50, Reagan Willman, you get your name called. So that was kind of motivation for me to play defense when I was a kid. I like that attention. Maybe you did.
I just hated the defensive line.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It was awful.
I don't blame you. You get beat up every single play.
I'd much rather know where I'm supposed to be going and I'm supposed to be hitting this guy.
Yeah.
I enjoy offense a lot more than defense.
Yeah, that's true.
That was my goal every time, even in practice, try to be the worst I can at defense.
Yeah,
And
you did a good job. Yeah, I didn't know that was intentional. I was always wondering why you play more defense.
It was awful.
Okay, I thought we were just
Especially that one year, it was like bear crawl. Bear crawl through the hole.
Bear crawl through the B gap. And we had a term that I won't say on this podcast, but it was bear your BALLS in the B gap. And I love alliteration, the repetition of a consonant sound. But that was the term. Bear yourself in the B gap so you can't get moved. And you were part of that.
Yeah.
I remember, I think Comanche, we played against them, and that was our game plan, is to just have our defensive tackles just.
The game we played at Comanche my junior year was by far the worst game I ever played in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like 44-0.
Yeah, that was tough, man.
Like 6 people got out with concussions.
We got over our skis a little bit after the 2001 season. I think we were ambitious with our scheduling, and we scheduled some teams we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Carter, like I said before.
Yeah.
He did the podcast before this one. He's like, yeah, we never should have probably scheduled them.
Yeah, Liberty Hill and Comanche, same year.
Liberty Hill was a little closer.
Yeah.
That was, like, team-wise, it probably wasn't close, but game-wise,
Right.
it was closer than those 4.
Yeah.
We didn't get ass beat up. Like, I bet you they just beat us.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was when Jonathan Robbins was a senior that year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, like, early in the game, got a concussion, was just sitting on the sideline, just, like, staring straight ahead the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, drilling on himself almost. And every now and then he would get up and, like, look for a helmet.
Mm.
Like, no, sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when we had a running clock after halftime.
Mm.
They put up 44 on us in the first half and then tried not to score in the second.
I didn't realize that.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of like detailed plays and stuff, but I remember that one.
Yeah.
That game. And I remember the right back from Comanche was long.
Yeah.
Right on the big yellow dog.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst loss in the 3 years I played on varsity.
Yeah.
That one, the Lexington one, was kind of bad too. That was probably my junior year too.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Jordan Peterson got hurt and thought we had a chance.
Yeah, right.
They put that freshman running back in. They ended up going in.
Dang.
He ran for like 275 on us.
Mm.
It was like 14-14. They ended up beating us like 56-14.
Yeah.
That was when Michael Gutierrez outran Jordan Peterson on the 9 route.
Yeah.
Oh, we might have a chance.
Yeah.
Then Peterson goes down with the cold hamstring. I'm like, oh, we really might have a chance.
Yeah.
And then like this kid comes in and like, nope.
Who's this guy?
But he ended up playing like 3 or 4 years at A&M.
I remember that.
I think it was like his last name was like Woolridge or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what his first name was. But that was those Lexington when they had their stuff rolling for
Mm-hmm.
those couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I sent a couple guys to one.
Yeah.
President Rogers and Lexington were both ranked in the state in the same district.
Yeah.
And the little Florence.
Yeah, we're trying to hang in with them. We just didn't quite hang in.
My senior year, the 04 year, that was when we came close to beating Rogers that year. That was when they beat us by 10.
It's not bad.
In Florence.
That's not bad.
Never ranked number 1.
That's not bad at all.
I think it was tied up at 14 at the half.
It's respectable.
And they ended up kicking a field goal and touchdown in the second half and won with them. And that was one where, because that was when Florence was, I don't know if they still do it, but the away team would have to go to I guess it's the Miller School gym now.
Yep.
Which was the main gym at the time.
Yep.
And our little field house was the same way.
Yeah.
I remember that when I walked through their side.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crapped up a way to almost got in a fight.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember one team. It might have been it was Lexington. They were making fun of our weight room because it said Florence Power Plant, and they were like, "Power Plant? That's stupid." Yeah. So yeah, I do remember that.
The little tin shack.
Yeah. It was a former like meat cutting shop.
Yeah, before they built it one.
Yeah.
I think it was a bus barn at one point too.
Yeah, who knows?
Because I think that's why the garage door was there.
Right. Yeah.
That we would always try to get to open, and Coach Carter was like, "No, you can't open the garage door. Like, you're not working hard enough to open that."
Right.
And I was like, especially when it was like humid outside,
Oh,
it would be all like steamy and gross in there.
Yeah.
Everything would be wet.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pull on a bar, but the other one was like all slippery.
Yeah.
All the good old days. I think that's why I hated this weight so much.
Yes.
All tent shacks.
Yeah.
But it turned out good because the reason I am how I am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
Right.
Or looking back on it now, I wouldn't change it. Back then, I would have.
Yeah, I told you earlier that I volunteered. I worked for your dad's newspaper, a Florentine. He wasn't sure whether to pronounce it Florentine or Florentine, but he said, I looked it up in the dictionary, and he said Florentine stands for, it says, all things pertaining to or related to Florence. So he said, I'm going to name the newspaper that. So I was his sports writer for maybe 6 months. And I think Jeff kind of took it over, maybe, when he was...
Yeah, that was was one of the main reasons why my dad started the newspaper.
Yeah.
To get Jeff going.
Yeah, Jeff took it over once. Jeff was in my English class, and I remember we talked about career goals, and he said he wanted to be an ESPN Sports Center anchor, and I was like, okay, that seems pretty pie in the sky, man, but good luck. And he's dang near got it. He's right there.
But then he realized he didn't have the face for TV.
Yeah, who does?
He has more face for radio.
Right, but he's doing great.
He's still living the dream, though.
Yeah.
He's still covering Texas.
He's doing awesome. But anyway, I worked for them, and I would type up an article about the basketball games, mostly some football games, and then spring sports. I did those too. I would write just updates and.
Yeah, that was back when the tennis program was pretty good.
Man, we had it going.
When he got sick, we were going through old pictures and stuff. And he just had a box from like old newspaper days and stuff, and it was like all the kids that were made all district or went to regionals or however many rounds there were, or state, like all that. There were pictures from tennis, and he's like, I don't know that many kids were like good at tennis in Florence.
It was crazy.
I never get that close attention. I mean, I went to tennis. I played tennis all 3 years, or three of the 4 years of high school, but I just went to practice.
It was crazy because tennis is the one thing that would get me out of bed at 6 a.m. to go coach. And I would coach a group at 7 to 8. The school started at 7. I think we did like 7 to 8 a.m., something like that. And then I would come back and coach a group early, like the 4 to 5 group, and then another group from 5 to 6 or 6:30, because I would have baseball kids. If they played baseball or softball, they'd come to tennis first, and then I'd have kids that went to track first would come to me after track. So I'd have, and then the kids that did track and baseball or track and softball, they would come to tennis in the morning. So I was doing 3 practices a day, and teaching English full time in school. So I was busy, but I loved it.
I remember there was a lot of kids in Florence that played tennis.
Yeah, I remember we had a lot of kids playing right then.
That was back when I used to go to practice just to do the little drills.
Yeah, I remember you came to practice.
I didn't really like it, but
Yeah.
I think that was one of those things. Coach, it was either Renault or Carter told me I needed to go to do footwork.
Good for your footwork. Yeah, I remember that's Carter.
And then I remember the first day I was there, you're like, you'll never go to any tournaments.
Yeah.
Don't give me any problems. Yeah. And I remember every time I go to get on a tennis court and start hitting, go pick it up.
Yeah.
Because I'll always just try to hit it over the fence.
Yeah. It is hard, man. The more I play tennis, the more I realize how much footwork is required to get yourself in that perfect position to hit a ball.
See, I think that was the only reason I was decent at football.
Yeah. Because
once I learned that part of it.
Right. Footwork.
If I wasn't the tallest or
biggest.
Yeah. My strength and a little bit of athleticism I had.
Yeah. It's everything. Footwork leads to positioning and then balance. And so if you can maintain your balance and move your feet, you can be a good player. You get leverage and angles, and you can put yourself in a position to be successful.
And it worked because once I was because it was my freshman year with a 01, I really didn't care.
Yeah.
And then that summer was when they told me I was going to be a varsity. So then sophomore year, went through football, and then I was like, hey, you need to go do tennis and actually pay attention and be a little more athletic.
Yeah.
And that was when I realized that all that footwork stuff actually made sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's kind of when I quit giving you crap all the time.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I sat there and listened and actually did those.
And your cousin James is a good player, man. He turned out to be.
Yeah, apparently, I talked to my dad about this before he got sick. Apparently, his dad was good at tennis.
Okay. James is good.
I don't know what we always call him Uncle Dyke. I don't know. I think the white and living is actually him. Apparently, he was good at tennis growing up.
Yeah.
So that's where James gets it from.
So James was in middle school, let's say 8th grade. And, man, I was still coaching tennis, and James got in trouble at school. He hit someone with his lunch tray. And I talked to the middle school principal out of sending him to AEP or JJAP, whatever. Nowadays it'd be assault. I was like, let me take him, and he'll have to pick up trash and tennis balls at the tennis courts. And so I had to pick up all the trash all around the courts, and it's like, all right, now all the trash is gone. Pick up all the balls. and I had high school kids hitting ball. They were trying to hit him with the ball. Poor guy, man. He was dodging. And then finally I was like, hey, take this racket, see if you can hit a ball.
That was probably art, like, when I was like,
Yeah.
sophomore.
Oh, yeah. It's like Eric Pacheco, one of those guys hitting balls at him and stuff. And then, anyway, he turned out to be a good player. So,
Because he was doing the tennis coaching with you for a
he
while.
did. He worked with me for like 8 years, I'd say. He worked at Cimarron Hills with me, and I think we paid him $15 an hour. And the director told me one day, she's like, hey, we can't afford to keep James on anymore. I'm sorry. So I had to tell him, hey, say, man, we can't pay you anymore. We got to let you go. He goes, I'll just work for free. I was like, okay. So he did that for a full year. And a year goes by, and she's like, hey, we can afford to pay him again. I was like, okay. And anyway, so he did that. And then I started my own program at Georgetown Tennis Academy, brought him along, and he was my right-hand man for like 5-6 years until he left me for HEB. He's doing great now. I saw him yesterday at the store.
Nice. I haven't talked to him since his dad passed.
Yeah, no, he's doing well.
I'm terrible at keeping in contact with people.
Yeah.
Which is another reason I started this, to
Yeah.
talk to people I haven't talked to in 20-something years.
You should meet with him. He's very successful now.
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably 6 years ago-ish, probably, that his dad passed. No. 4 years? I don't know. Been more than 2.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I talked to him, I think.
Yeah.
Chit-chatted with him a little bit, and he asked me to do something for the dad, and then I never heard from him again.
Yeah.
That's how life goes.
How life goes, man.
I barely even keep in contact with Jeff.
Yeah.
He's the only brother I have left. And I live in San Marcos, live in Ocala. Talk like once a month.
That's great. You're right there too.
My mom asked me all the time, she's like, can we talk to brothers? Like, what do you do? Like, what happened? Yeah. A lot of it, that, like, he's the one I'm closest, like, anybody in life that I'm closest to, and we don't talk that much.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Like, we'll text every now and then during our text. If they're doing bad, I'll text them.
Thanks.
Just to rub it in.
Yeah.
It's like every morning of the Texas OU game, I send him the Roy Williams jumping over the line and Chris Sims.
That's funny.
I almost forgot. This was the first year I almost forgot. It was like 5 minutes to kickoff, and I sent it to me. Like,
Nice.
I thought it was over. I said, Cap, I almost forgot, but I
That's really
can't.
good.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we do talk about when we get together.
Right.
It's just what's going on in the sports world.
Yeah.
Getting close to the end of this, Coach.
Yeah. Anything else?
What's one thing that people might not know about you?
When I was a kid, we moved around a lot. I didn't just grow up in Menard, Texas. I think I went to kindergarten in Houston, first grade in Austin, second and third grade in Westlake, fourth grade, Louisiana and Colorado, fifth grade, Menard, sixth grade back in Houston, and then 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th in Menard. I moved around a lot. So I had some educational gaps, but somehow I still managed to piece it all together and be a decent student. Good enough to get into UT. Of course, back then, you just had to be top 25%, not like top 5%, whatever it is now, top 6 or whatever. Some ridiculous.
And now it's probably you have to be like valedictorian.
Yeah, really.
And maybe get in.
So I moved a lot as a kid, and so I learned to read a room pretty quickly and kind of get the idea of the culture. You know, I talk about culture a lot with my kids, and I kind of overuse it. But one of my college courses, the professor said, culture is the whole way of life of a people. The whole way of life of a people. So I talk about everything is culture, right? But this is culture right now, right? What we're doing is part of our culture. And so what people don't know, moved around a lot as a kid, learned a lot, had to learn about different cultures. And so going into a classroom in Slidell, Louisiana, when I was probably one of the only white kids, a bunch of black kids and a few white kids, and a black teacher, best teacher I ever had, fourth grade teacher. Then moving to Colorado, and now it's a bunch of ski resort white kids. And I'm behind in math, and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm struggling, and the male teacher's just roasting me. and I'm embarrassed and I'm hurting. But I got through it. I battled through that. And then go to my hometown where I have cousins in Menard and I have family, and that felt like home. And then going one more year in Houston as a sixth grader and having to scratch and claw and ask my language arts teacher, hey, can I get in the honors class? I don't think I should be in the regular class. I want to be in the honors class every day for 6 weeks until they finally moved me in. And I was like, thank you. And I got in the honors class and I did fine. But they were like, yeah, you're a new kid and you didn't go to fifth grade here in Houston or 80, whatever the school district was. And so I managed to get in that class. And because I was willing to advocate for myself and speak up, I got into places may not have got in later, just like walking on at Texas. Because I went and sought it out and spoke up and asked instead of just hanging back and waiting on things, it opened doors for me. So that's the advice I would give me. Man, you don't just knock on the door, kick that door down.
The worst thing you say no.
The worst you can hear is no, exactly. Yeah. And I learned that at a young age too. The worst you can hear is no. And you try something.
That's one thing my dad always told us. Don't ever be afraid to ask a question or ask to do something. The worst they can do is tell you no.
Yeah. That's right.
I didn't take a lot from him growing up, but that was one thing I always stuck in my head.
Yeah. Your dad was willing to try things, new things, and take risks.
The smartest uneducated person I've ever met in my life.
Right.
Because he dropped out of high school.
I didn't know that. Never would have guessed that.
Dropped out his second freshman year.
Wow.
Dropped out, joined the Army, got married.
Yeah,
my oldest brother.
Yeah.
That was back before you had to get a GED or anything to go to college or to go to the Army. Mm-hmm. It's funny because he didn't have a GED or a diploma, but he has a college certificate.
Nice.
Associates, whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
Now he finished high school, the Army put him through, I think it was St. Philip's in San Antonio.
Okay.
Got a physical therapy degree or license. Never did anything with it. Was in the Army for 3 years and then got out. They were still in Florence and that's where they stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always told everybody that he was by far the smartest and educated person ever.
Right.
Book smarts probably wasn't there, but common sense and life smarts.
I've known several mechanics that are like that. There was a mechanic in Florence that fixed my universal joint there, right there in the middle of town, and the guy was brilliant.
Did you ever get your car worked on by the blind guy?
No.
Fix transmissions?
No, that's Mr. Harrell, right?
Yeah, I think it was Mike.
Yeah. No, this was last name Catron, I think. He had a son named Nick. Catron was his last name, and he was a great mechanic.
Yeah, that's all we got, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you for coming all the way up here and doing that.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you, Coach Willman, for joining us. And remember to check out our Instagram page at Catching Up with Joe Howe for information on our next show. Until then, I'm Joe, and thank you for catching up with me.